My name is Tom Prado, and I met Bennie Filippini at a gardener's meeting. That was the first time I met him. And he was a very large fellow compared to all the other fellows who were there, you know. And Ben is a very devoted family man, and he's very nice to everybody, and he's really a good friend, a very nice person. Benny can do anything. He can fix anything, and he's always trying to make things better. We used to make, we always make Barodes, and somebody took off with all our paraphernalia that we used for the Barodi dinner. He made the funnels for us. And he said, I'll take care of this job, and he did. He made them all for us, and the following year he brought them to our dinner again, and we've used those ever since, and it's been about 10 or 12 years now. Benny does a lot of work for the gardeners, and without him, he gets everything done right. And I mean, when he does something, it is done right. And I've never seen a guy that works so hard on such a hard job. But he really gets the job done. Well, I'll tell you, he's one of the most nicest, honest person there is. But don't get him mad. But he is just a great guy.
I would just like to add that years ago, the annual Italian Gardener Society dinner was always held at the Growers Hall on Wilson Way, the Maracetta we used to call it, because the market was below. The truck farmers used to come, sell all their wares to the stores. Then they didn't have trucks that delivered. They came there and purchased it right from fresh off the trucks. Anyway, the gardener's dinner was held upstairs, and it was a big hall, wood floor, with a big balcony going all the way around the side, and the kids used to love to run around the floor and go up and down the stairs, and Mr. Tilio Giannetti used to patrol it and try to keep order for everyone and keep everyone safe. And I could always remember Ben used to sit upstairs with that flag, with the American flag up, and kind of watch for the kids running up and down the stairs. And that dinner was one of the best dinners, and your members and families were all invited to come. It was another Italian gathering of keeping everyone together and socializing with your neighbors and meeting new friends. Anyway, through the years, that dinner consisted of like roast cooked in the oven with a lot of gravy, roasted chicken, salad, antipastos, and all the cold cuts, and Italian bread, and just a great meal. And through the years, as that went down, Tom somehow or another inherited that dinner. After some of the old timers had passed and gone on, the dinner kind of changed a little bit. They were having it catered, and some of the older members remembered that and didn't particularly care for the way it was being offered to the society. So anyway, Tommy and his crew, Benny included, and Louis Mazza decided that it would be done the way it was done in the old days. So to this day, they do that, and that was just held in February.
Right.
Like I say, Benny, when he gets involved in something, he's very thorough and complete. He detail work and whatever. He's just a great guy to do that. And his passion for the Italian culture is just overflows, and you can't help but enjoy listening to him tell stories because he adds his own personal little touch. So he's just a one of a kind, Ben.
Oh, I've known Ben for many years. We were in high school about the same time. I went to Linden High School, but he was at St. Mary's, but we used to see each other at different events and functions. Well, we had mutual friends. There was one couple boys from Linden that went to St. Mary's, so we were mutual friends with theirs, and Ben was friends of theirs, and at different parties or several parties, we were all seemed to merge together and have fun together back in those days. So that's how we knew each other, basically. A very large, gregarious guy. Ben was always full of fun and always wanted to do something exciting, it seemed like. Whether it was fun or just kicking butt. He always wanted to get into it. So he always had exciting ideas that he thought we all should be doing. And so he was just a fun, big, gregarious guy. Back in those days of fun, we used to meet at the drive-ins here in town and either travel around on Harding Way or Pacific Avenue and meet up with other people. And if there was some quote-unquote rumble going on, Ben always wanted to be part of it. So I don't remember anything in particular, but he liked the exciting part of life in those days. I think Ben is just one hell of a nice guy. He is very mature. When he dedicates himself to something, he does it 110%. You know, whatever project he takes on, whatever he wants to do, he does it 110%. He just doesn't give you 50% effort. Once he says yes, he will do something, or yes, he wants to do something, he does it 110%. So I've always admired that in him, that what he does to the nth degree and does it the best possible way he can. All of his efforts going forth on it. That we can have fun and joke with each other. No matter what project we're working on, we can make fun of it. You know, we can have fun. Everything we do, we always have a laugh. Whenever we're together, we have to have a laugh at least once or twice, because what he does, we have fun with, as I said, and he does it well, but we have fun doing it. So I enjoy working with him on whatever project it may be. We've worked on several projects over the years, and I always enjoy working with him because we can make fun of doing it. We had a project going where he came to me where he wanted to have the Italians have a permanent location where we could have an Italian museum. So we worked on looking at several buildings and how we could possibly acquire these buildings and what we could do with these buildings once we acquired them. So we had a lot of fun working on that project. It never came to fruition, unfortunately, but we did have a lot of fun doing that thing. Yeah, I think I wish one of these days that all that could come to fruition, because I think it would be an important aspect for this community that we could have a central location for all the Italian history that could be assembled and put together. If you recall, many years ago, we had an Italian exhibit at the Hagen Museum that Ben and I were active in putting together. And it was a very, very successful program. The entire community turned out to view it and comment about it. And unfortunately, when it's over, everything is disassembled and all the goods are returned to the proper owners and forgotten about again. So it's too bad there's not a place that we could not assemble this paraphernalia and have people view it and keep it updated, change it into the current times and keep it going. I think it would be very important. He will talk to anybody about it, because
That's how you get it done.
he certainly would like to have it done. It's just a matter of how do we put it together. We have some plans. We still think we could put it together, but it's a matter of getting cooperation from a lot of people. But I think it could be accomplished. I think if we could, before Ben goes to meet his great reward, if we could accomplish his mission and have a Italian cultural center where all this Italian paraphernalia could be on display and preserved, Ben would be very proud of that, because that would be one of his glowing achievements that he would have in life, because it's a great desire, and I think a very worthy desire, that Ben has to accomplish such a mission in this thing. And I would like to see it accomplished for him, because he would be a great benefit to this community.
I'm Kathy Ligorio Jansen. I know Ben because he is my cousin and my godfather. I've known Ben, since the day I was born, I assume. I don't. My early memories are probably, my second birthday party. Benny's the oldest male cousin, so we all always kind of looked up to him. Plus, he was always a big kid, and so he commanded everybody's respect. You know, he's a big guy, but he was then and he is now just a sweetheart. We were kind of concerned that, or at least the family was, that Benny wouldn't find the right girl, and he went away to school and came back engaged. So we were all quite pleased, and Ellen is one of the delights of our family as well, so we're happy to have her as part of the family too. First thing that comes to mind is probably the family meals or the Thanksgiving dinners around Noni's table, and all the family, all the cousins being there. When my parents remodeled their home, my dad wanted something significant behind the bar, and Bennie at that time was collecting and restoring old cash registers. So he found this beautiful historic cash register, and he restored it meticulously. It's brass and every part works, and it's huge, and it was behind the bar in my parents' home until they passed away. And then we didn't want to keep it there after my mom moved out, so we moved it to the office at Ace, and we really didn't have a place for it. So I traded it back to Bennie on the condition that he invite me over for dinner. So he now has the cash register back, but it's at the bar in his house, so anyone should ask to see it. It's just beautiful. I think personally, Bennie is now kind of the patriarch of our family. All my uncles and my dad have passed away, so Bennie is the oldest male in the family today, so he's kind of the patriarch, and he's kept track of the family tree, which many people have seen, but so he's helped keep the family together that way, and he's done the same thing, I think, for the Italian gardeners family in tracking their history and memorabilia and keeping that together. So he's a great historian, and I think should be recognized for his efforts to keep those past things in our minds for the next generations.
I'm Brenda Humphreys. I'm Ben Filippini's oldest daughter. My dad was a terrific dad. He had to deal with 3 daughters, no sons, and 1 bathroom in this tiny little house, and very patient with us. You know, being 3 girls living at home, and we all had 1 room when we were little. Pink shag carpet, pink wallpaper, pink bedspreads. But he would, when my mom would work, he would cook dinner for us. And one time he read somewhere that children liked colored foods, so he made the mashed potatoes blue. And of course, us girls, you know, we're not going to eat that. He was very patient. Good dad. I don't know what his favorite holiday is, but I'm going to guess that it's probably Easter, because every year, not only just our immediate family, but second cousins and third cousins, we all gather together, head up into the mountains and the foothills, and we have a big picnic with potluck. So we all bring something, and so we get to visit with not just the cousins that you see all the time, but extended family. And they have, if you have a little one, you bring a dozen Easter eggs, and then they have this big, huge meadow, and the teenagers all hide the Easter eggs, and the kids all get to hunt the Easter eggs, so that's fun. And he just loves to go around and visit with every single person and see how many 2-footers there are, because there's always new ones, and he's always updating his family tree, so that's always fun for him. The first time I saw our family tree that I can remember was my son Brian, who's now 18, going on 19, had to do a project for a 6th grade class, and he had to bring a family tree. So my dad goes, okay, I can print it out on the computer. So he goes in there, and it's just that paper with the dots on the outside. Okay, so he prints it out, and it's just humongous. So not in the classroom, but down the hallway at Waterloo School, Brian takes the family tree and puts it down the hallway, and it is long. I mean, this is when he first started. So it was really fun because he had cousins that he didn't know he had cousins that went to school with him. So when they were looking at Brian's family tree, they would go, oh, I'm on your family tree, and I'm on your family tree. So that was kind of fun. That was the first time I really saw it as the family tree, and it probably was I don't know, probably 10 feet long, and now it's, I don't know, 100 feet long, 100 feet long. So that was the first time I really saw it all come together. He's a really good cook, and I know he likes to cook for the dinners for the community, the Barodi feeds. He likes to go and do the crab feeds and, you know, just be part of that, whether his hands are in the pot or not. They are. I'm sure they are, no matter what, stirring something. And I like it when my kids get to, like, if he will call them and say, hey, we have these big heavy pots and I really need a boy. So they get that experience too of cooking with their grandfather. So that's my favorite story about my dad. Weddings are very expensive, and he is a Genovese Italian, and they're very frugal and what my mom calls a tight ass. So she, you know, it costs a lot of money to put on this wedding, and my mom made him rent a tux, and he went down there and, you know, negotiated this rental of a tuxedo, and he has like 13 triple E shoes. So at that time, they didn't have any shoes that were comfortable for him to rent. So he was talking to the people he worked with, and they told him that what this president of the bank goes down, uses the same work shoes my dad would use for work. He would have them shined up, and he would go to Alex Spanos's gala affairs with these shoes. And my dad comes home, tells my mom that I have solved the problem, that I can just take my work shoes, I can have them shined up, and then I can wear them to my daughter's wedding. Well, they might be good for Alex Spanos, and they might be, you know, good enough for the bank president, but they weren't good enough for her daughter's wedding. So she made him an appointment at a shoe boutique, which he thought that was hilarious. So they go down, and he's doing something under the thing, and we have no idea his speech. So he's undoing his shoe, right? And he holds up his shoe and he goes, this wedding has cost me a lot of money. And these shoes cost me $300. And he goes, and I don't know of anything that comes in a drawstring bag except Crown Royal and these shoes. And he goes, and he turns them around. He has put duct tape on the back side of his shoe. If this duct tape holds out all night, I'm going to get my money back. So... And he was serious. He was going to get his 300 because, you know, he's Genovese Italian and tight ass, and he was going to get his money back for the wedding shoes.
I'm Ellen Filippini. I'm Ben's wife for almost 51 years. Ben and I met in Denver, Colorado. I was working there trying to make enough money to get to Hawaii, and he was going to school. He worked for NCR, and they had their schooling back there. And a friend that I worked with was having a party, so she invited a lot of the nurses, and her husband worked at NCR, so they invited a lot of the men. So I met him at a party. And